I'd like to announce that on September the 19th, Strasbourg's Université Marc Bloch officially created a diploma for musicians acting in hospitals.
Le diplôme des musiciens intervenant à l'hôpital.
Pourquoi j'ai voulu faire
Why
cette
did I want to do this diploma for musicians acting in hospitals? Mainly because I wanted to widen my skills base.
Pour diversifier mon champ de compétences. Enfin, une intervention.
When you're making music in a healthcare environment, it's not just the music itself that counts, but it's a combination of a whole lot of other things on a more human side.
Ça permet d'autres choses beaucoup plus humaines.
Such as the woman who started dancing the tango, even though she was an invalid.
Elle était invalide il y a 4 mois.
D'autres tangos à la rondelle, mais mon cœur n'oubliera pas celui-là. Son souvenir me poursuit jour et nuit, et partout je ne pense qu'à lui. Car il m'a fait connaître l'amour pour toujours. Le plus beau.
Bien sûr, il y a.
Yes, of course, there's the repertoire of songs, instrumental pieces, sound objects, etc. But it's also about creating, building a sound experience with people, like that. So that everything turns out as well as possible for everyone, or that there's something real happening, not just a group of musicians playing in front of a bunch of people who clap them at the end.
Quand vous aviez 20 ans, sur un air qui vous rappelle combien la vie était belle. Pour votre anniversaire, voulez-vous danser grand-mère?
Voilà, je voudrais dire tout
First of
l'intérêt,
all, as
effectivement,
president of the University Marc Bloch, I'd like to say how interested I am in the current created by the musicians acting in a healthcare
milieu de
environment.
santé. Il me semble que cette filière réunit.
I think this movement is a broad reflection of many of the key aspects covered by the university. We're firstly a great cultural university which believes in the usefulness, the richness and the effectiveness of cultural life.
La richesse et l'efficacité de la vie culturelle, et bien sûr,
Naturally, it's a movement of musicians and artists, and that's very important for us. Secondly, we want our university to play a larger role in society. We're not indifferent to the world around us and to its problems, quite the opposite.
Bien au contraire, et à ces grands problèmes.
And the question of health, from birth to old age and right up to the death of the individual and the experience of suffering, is something that can't fail to move you, and the musicians acting in hospitals have, I think, managed to create a unique type of relationship within the hospital.
Extrêmement original à l'intérieur de l'hôpital, qui est différent de ce
It's different, for example, to that of a concert given by a chorale. And that's also part of the university's mission, to train people capable of creating this new type of relationship within a
de
hospital.
nouvelles relations au sein de l'hôpital. Enfin, troisième point, on ne peut pas.
The third point is that as president of the university, you need to keep a close eye on the professional future of its students. And in this diploma, there's a qualification that will help people in their professional career. And so it's also a way of helping people move up on the career ladder, as much as its more obvious benefits.
Professionnel que la création de cette filière.
Ce genre d'intervention.
When you're performing in a healthcare institution, you can't leave it down to improvisation. It's hard to imagine a musician, even a professional, coming into a ward and just playing a piece of music.
Et exécuter un morceau de musique.
What really strikes me is the learning process behind all this.
L'apprentissage qu'il y a derrière. On ne peut pas.
It can't just be improvised on the spot. It has to be thought out and built up in advance, and then learned before it's performed.
Raisonner, penser et qu'elle mérite d'être apprise et validée.
qu'on ne peut pas s'improviser musicien.
Music in this kind of environment can't just be improvised. You have to know the patients and know the issues facing the healthcare teams and take the time and effort to make sure the performance fits in with the work of the team.
Alors, quelles sont les compétences?
What kind of skills do musicians acting in hospitals need? They have to be good musicians, they have to be technically skilled at doing several things, a wide variety of things, so they'll always have several different interesting choices or alternatives at their fingertips.
Et ne pas lasser non plus. Il faut qu'ils
They need to be able to build up a relation with the elderly
avec
patients.
ces personnes âgées, il faut qu'ils sachent
And they have to know what kind of limit they can expect. Physically, of course, but also psychologically. And this is something they have to be able to work on.
mais aussi limite psychologique, et donc il doit pouvoir travailler ceci.
What's important for me in this training is the fact that the musicians, the future musicians in hospitals, are aware of how the teams work in the hospital, so that they can fit in seamlessly and don't cause any disruption in the organisation.
Ne pas rompre l'organisation du service.
Once the students understand what their place is, when they have to leave a room, how to enter and leave an information room, how to play the music without disturbing anyone, well, I think that's very important.
De transmission, comment apporter en douceur sa musique sans qu'il y ait gêne. Je pense que c'est très important.
Vous êtes entré dans la chambre et là,
You're in the room and there's a baby. Let's say it's a very young baby who's sleeping. Then next to the baby you have the mother, who's there with the baby and who's waiting, and you come in. How do you manage?
rentrez. Comment vous faites?
C'est faux, 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 les petites marionnettes. C'est faux, 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 trois petits tours et puis s'en vont.
Bien. On va tout de suite
An immediate comment. What did I say before? There's a baby of 6 months who's asleep and his mother's next to him. You come in with a song about puppets. You're acting the little puppet for a baby that's asleep, so it's not really very suitable.
Et vous êtes en train de faire la petite marionnette pour un bébé qui dort. Donc, elle n'est pas du tout adaptée.
Si on prend juste la If we just take the first situation we had with the woman in an armchair, when you begin to sing your song in English, I don't know what the title is, the problem is that Christine, you can see that, she's standing back and your voice is up, and if she wants to sing with you, she can't play with you as you've taken your range and you've played by yourself.
Here are the ways we play. Que sera. Whatever will be. The future's not ours to see. Que sera.
The second thing, a minor point I think, but important all the same, when you're here with the man who's right next to you with the 3 bars there, the thing is that you've only been playing a little bit and then suddenly you hand it to him. So you haven't got it anymore, and so you try to show him, or you can't actually buy a second one, or don't have a second one. You take a second beater, because there's only one. You won't be able to play it together. There, you've got 3 bars. You can try to have a second beater and you play on 1 bar and him too, so that he tries to imitate the movement you make, because you didn't play much at all, and then suddenly you hand it to him just like that, and he might well not understand exactly what to do. I found it a tiny bit of a shame that you sang La Maladie d'Amour with the accordion. It's a fantastic song, it's superb. Anyway, I know that it's not easy with the accordion. You can't get up really close like you managed to with the English song. It's difficult. You were perhaps a bit far away. You could possibly get a bit closer. On top of that, you're above her. You were a bit like that with her, and she was really there like that, and you played. It was just really great. It was very, very good. But I wonder if there's not something that can be added just to get a closer relationship.
Je veux qu'on m'enterre dans une cave où il y a du bon vin.
Si je meurs, je veux qu'on m'enterre dans une cave où il y a du bon vin.
Dans une cave, oui, 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 dans une cave.
Non, non, non,
dans une cave où il y a du bon vin.
Ce qui me paraît essentiel.
There are two aspects of this project that I think are crucial. First of all, there's the stress on artistic and cultural standards. It's a genuine cultural project.
Artistique et culturel. C'est un vrai projet culturel. Et deuxièmement,
the second point is the willingness to adapt to the environment. Because working with old people is a specific environment. Working in neonatology is a specific environment. Maternity is a specific environment.
Le lieu de la maternité est un public spécifique.
It's only possible to fit in with these environments and keep up standards if there's a training structure behind it all, covering the whole of the project. Without the training, there'd be no project.
Sans cette formation, par contre, nous n'aurons pas de projet.
Ici Gilles, oui, oui, oui. Ici Gilles, non, non, non. Ici Gilles, le roi des buveurs.
En débutant cette formation à l'hôpital, je me suis rendu compte.
When I started the training at the hospital, I realized that there was an enormous number of possibilities and different audiences who could be reached through the music.
Et on n'est pas obligé de jouer pour 100 personnes pour.
And you don't have to perform for 100 people to play music. You can play for a single person, and there's contact that's established through the look. There's something that happens. It's as if both of us shared the other's look, shared the moment, and it's not like that in public.
Et on n'a pas ça en public. Mais
but
pour
for two people, when there are just two of you, it's indescribable.
C'est indescriptible.
Samati oulé, didi, samati oulé. Samati oulé, didi, samati oulé.
Là, il faut absolument être formé pour se protéger.
You've got to have training to protect yourself against your own emotions. From the musical point of view, learn how to move up close to people, because we're not used to being up close to people, to playing as close as this.
De jouer à une certaine distance de proximité, évaluer la juste
The
distance.
hardest thing for me was working out just how close to the patient the musician should get.
Était le plus dur pour moi.
Cette formation, je l'ai commencée sans.
I started off the training without any aim other than to get myself involved in some kind of volunteer work. I didn't expect the training to work out as it did.
En commençant cette formation. Et par contre, ce qui est
On the other
intéressant,
hand, it's interesting for my studies in Protestant theology and for my ambition to become a priest. Everything that involves meeting people, because when you come to play music, you don't actually come to make music, you come to meet people. And it's through music that happens.
Il est si doux, mon cher trésor, d'être un peu faux. La vie est parfois trop amère.
Les moments qu'on
The
passe
time we
avec
spend with Mrs. K, let's say, there's a fairly big difference between the stuff we play in concerts, for example, as we realize that music is very important, but it's especially the physical presence of the musicians that changes things. If we were in a concert hall with a chorus, there wouldn't be the same reactions as she has. She wouldn't touch us or embrace us every time. We can sense that there, what's important is the fact we're physically there. We're next to her and there for her.
Pourvu que toujours vous relisiez ces mots suprêmes, je vous aime. Il est si doux, mon cher trésor, d'être un peu faux. La vie est parfois trop amère si l'on ne croit pas aux chimères. Le chagrin est vite apaisé.